Welcome back. I'm here in the studio with world adventurer Gregor Post. Gregor, where have you come from today?
I just got off the plane, actually. I was just in Serbia this morning before I came to do this interview. And I landed only an hour ago, so I'm a little bit...
Jet-lagged? A little bit tired?
Yeah, a little bit jet-lagged, probably.
Did you see any interesting films on the plane?
The plane that I used didn't actually have filmic devices in it. It was sort of my own plane, which is kind of bare essentials. It just has wings and stuff, so there's no films inside. So I keep myself entertained by just looking out the window while I drive it.
Ah, so you're driving at the same time as flying?
Yeah. It's mostly so I can keep track of how everything happens, because I don't really like someone else to control what I'm doing in terms of flying, so I will be the one who drives.
Ah, and you've travelled all around the world. Do you have any particular places that you like to go back and forth to regularly?
There was this amazing island, and I'm glad you asked this question, in Kandun, which is, you probably haven't heard of this place before, but it's an island off, I think it's off the east coast of I can't remember the name of it. And anyway, on that island, there's a magical tribe there, and I was actually there at an important time in their lives because they previously hadn't been able to speak a language. And while I was there, I helped them develop their own language. So that was an interesting time for me in Kandun.
Wow, can you tell me something in this language? How would you say, I like eating watermelons?
Well, the interesting thing about the language is it's mostly silent and it's mostly gestural with the face, or expressive. So eating watermelons might be like just that, and then they would understand what I'm getting at by the subtleties in my expression, nerves and things like that in the face.
Oh.
It's pretty complex, so you probably don't really understand what it means yet.
It's unusual to see someone with such an interest in travel as you. It almost seems like you're in more than one place at any one time. What is it that drew you to travel?
The thing about travel, or the better term that I like to use, is adventure. It's a challenge to me to be able to go to so many different places and be the first person to do certain things, like develop this language with the people of Kandun. So I think adventuring and travelling is something that's in my blood. Also in my blood is the royal family. I'm a descendant of some of the royals from India. So I have a few things in my blood: adventure and royals and some capillaries.
How do you keep up these relationships all across the globe with your royal family in India and your friends in Kundun and...
Well, the easy way to keep in touch with most of them is letters. I would write them a letter, and then sometimes they'll write back to me, and then I will respond to the letter, and then we will have a dialogue with letters.
But how do you receive your letters when you're constantly in the air flying your plane?
Well, they don't actually come up to me in the plane. That would be impossible. But when I get home, on the ground, I have a letterbox, and they'll probably be in there.
You must have post boxes all over the planet.
I've got a few. I think I have 5.
Five. Where are these centrally located 5 places?
I like to move them around kind of constantly because I don't know where I'll be, but I think I've got one up the top and down the bottom, and then a couple around sort of the equator.
What's the most interesting food you've eaten?
That's an interesting question, because although a food may be interesting, it may not taste good.
Okay, what's the most foul food you've eaten?
Strawberries.
Strawberries?
Oh, they make me sick.
And the most delicious?
I tried rat throat once, which was an interesting experience. That was in the south of Shanghai. But it was a delicacy there, and I respected that, so I ordered quite a lot of rat throat.
Do you have any adventurers who you admire and follow in the footsteps of?
Captain Hook. He, to me, is someone who is more than a traveller. He is an adventurer because he's missing a part of himself and then has an addition, which is kind of like me in the way that I am missing maybe a small part of my brain or something.
Was Captain Hook a lonely man? Are you a lonely man in your adventures?
I like to keep myself company by talking to myself and playing out scenarios. So if I'm in an igloo in Alaska, for example, and I'm feeling lonely, I will build a small Inuit man out of snow and have small dialogues with him about what it's like to be in Alaska.
I'm just going to have a little chat to this little black eye over here on the tripod.
Yeah.
Hey, Gregor is going to be hanging out at the Under the Radar Festival between the 3rd and the 11th of September at Metro Arts. You should come and see him there. Thanks for watching the show. We'll be back again next week with who knows what.